So we are now only 16 days away. Yep, 16 days away from the Bitcoin halving. We have a hard date. It's supposed to be April 20th. It might float between the 19th and the 20th, just so you guys are aware. And now that we are getting this close, only about 2 weeks away, are we going to have our drop? Is this where we're going to face some pullback? This is what people have talked about and known to be true for quite some time, is that historically speaking, we do have a drop sometime around the halving. But I want to play devil's advocate here. Is it possible that we do not have a drop? Are we already going through this? So this is what I want to discuss. I want to discuss how this pertains to ADA as well. So when we look at the Bitcoin charts, I have said time and time again, we are playing out very, very similarly to 2016 pre-halving. You guys can see that, the blue charts here, for example, are what we did in 2016 running up until the time of the halving. Actually, the scale is pretty darn accurate as well. We went through a period of consolidation before the halving. So that's all very, very similar. Okay. Now the question is are we going to play out the same way we did post halving? For example, this is what we looked like post halving. This is scaled, right? This would be a drop down close to the 60K range. I think if we went through a similar retracement to what we did at that time from our consolidation zone, that's about where we'd pull back to. Obviously, that would mean, assets throughout the space would face some retracement and pullback and things like that. Now, here's the thing. When I look back at the charts here, these drops have lessened over time. The retracements have gotten lesser and lesser as we move from cycle to cycle. Now, 2020 was kind of a strange time. Remember, we went through kind of a retracement here, but this had to do with a worldwide black swan event. COVID crash, right? Massive retracement in the market. We saw a pullback from, I believe, over $10,000 down to about 3K, into the 3K range. Yeah, somewhere down there. So we're talking heavy retracement, 60 to 70%. Now, the thing is when you look at this chart, we basically rebounded in about 2 months or so, basically back to the levels that we were at that time. And what this leads me to believe is that we probably would have consolidated and just gone sideways and not really retraced that much. Okay. Now this is me just speculating. Obviously we don't know. There's no guarantee that was an unforeseen event that crippled things throughout the entire world. It just kind of is what it was. When we look back at halvings prior, you can see that, for example, 2016, we got kind of quiet around the time of the halving. Didn't really do much until actually about almost 3 weeks post halving, and we went through a small drop of about 16%. Wasn't really a whole lot. The halving prior to that, we dropped about 40%. Okay, you guys can see right back here, we dropped about 40% prior to that. But my point is based on the trends that we're seeing here, it looks like things are actually tending to calm down just a little bit around the time of the halving. Now, what I want to remind people as well is this time, as we get into the halving, we have very, very different factors. We are earlier than we've ever been. We have retail coming back early. We have institutional money buying in a big way. So are these things going to essentially lessen the dip? All right. Is this going to be more like around the time of the 2012 halving where we basically hit the halving and we were off to the races? That's completely possible. All right. So people are saying, oh yeah, we have to drop. We have to consolidate. No, we don't. The thing is the crypto market's been around so long now, and people say, oh, I've had people on both sides, right? People say, oh yeah, we're going to follow the trend 100%. And people say, oh, these trends are garbage. We're not going to follow that at all. It's kind of somewhere in the middle, right? We've started early. We've had the beginning of our bull market cycle, but we've broken what we've done historically. We've gone higher than what we've done historically. And it's because there's these additional catalysts. And then even though we've had those additional catalysts to basically change the way that this market cycle works, people don't think that these additional catalysts will play a part in changing the way that we do things around the time of the halving. And that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Now, what that means for something like ADA and even other alts in the space is if BTC does not go on this retracement, does essentially start an early alt season, that means that a lot of these alts are going to fly. ADA and many others are likely to see earlier adoption. They're likely to see earlier capital inflows. Okay. That's where things begin to get exciting. Now, again, this is not financial advice. This is not a guarantee. This is purely me just looking at how things have been trending historically, kind of ignoring the COVID crash and what we maybe would have done around that time. Right. But there's a lot of unknowns approaching this halving. Me personally, if you guys are curious, I'm just accumulating. I'm not trying to game the market. I'm not trying to get cute, because the second people think that they're smarter than the market is the second the market does something different and it wrecks you. All right. I've seen tons of people post about this, talk about this, people wanting 13-cent ADA, right? We remember talking about those when ADA was at 24 to 26 cents, and about how it was likely never to happen. Okay. So just be prepared. I'm taking a cautious approach. As always, people can do what they want. Me, I'm just about accumulating for the future. If I buy up here and it drops lower, guess what? I can buy even cheaper then. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.